And you've got an illustration in terms of using a balloon that describes this.
It's very important not to misunderstand this model. It's much more radical than the layman normally thinks. The model does not describe the expansion of our material universe into a pre-existing empty space. The model is much more radical than that. Rather, what the model describes is the expansion of space itself. And to get an idea of this, we can think of a balloon with buttons glued on the surface of the balloon. Now, the buttons are stationary with respect to the surface of the balloon. They're stuck in place. But as the balloon blows up, the buttons get further and further and further apart because the balloon itself is expanding. Now, the surface of the balloon is just like our three-dimensional space. The galaxies are actually at rest in space, but they move away from each other because space itself is expanding. And the radical implication of this is that as you trace the expansion back in time, the galaxies get closer and closer and closer together until finally everything is contracted down to a single point, before which the universe literally did not exist. So this is an absolute origin of space, time, matter, and energy in the Big Bang event. This prediction of an absolute beginning of the universe has now stood for almost 100 years through the most tumultuous and incredible period of advance in both theoretical and experimental physics. In fact, in the year 2003, three leading cosmologists, Arvind Borde, Alan Guth, and Alexander Vilenkin, showed that any universe which is on average in a state of cosmic expansion cannot be eternal in the past, but must have an absolute beginning at some time in the finite past. According to the Borde-Guth-Vilenkin theorem, classical space-time cannot be extended to past infinity, but must terminate in a boundary. If that boundary was the beginning of the universe, then the universe began to exist. If there was something on the other side of that boundary described by a yet-to-be-discovered theory of everything, then Vilenkin says that is the beginning of the universe. What you cannot have is a universe that exists for infinite past time. So Vilenkin is very forthright about the implications. This is what he says. It is said that an argument is what convinces a reasonable man, and a proof is what it takes to convince even an unreasonable man. With the proof now in place, cosmologists can no longer hide behind the possibility of a past eternal universe. There is no escape. They have to face the problem of a cosmic beginning.
Yeah, what you're saying is the layperson hears all of the different theories that are proposed to defeat what they're saying. But for 100 years it stood, and the very defeat of all of these proposals show that the universe had a beginning.
That's exactly right. The history of 20th century cosmology can in a way be seen as a parade of failed theories trying to avoid the absolute beginning of the universe. Steady state models, vacuum fluctuation models, oscillating models, string models. Over and over again, theorists have tried to avoid the absolute beginning, and none of these attempts has proved itself more plausible in the minds of the scientific community than models with a beginning.